the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dawn Mead. I'm here, as usual, hosting AVSocial with my cohort, Kelly Perkins. Say hi, everyone, Kelly.
Hello, everyone.
Or give a wave. And we're joined today with a couple of special guests for our pre-InfoComm 2016 show. First up, we have Kelsey Oliger, who is the social media coordinator for InfoComm International. Kelsey, thanks so much for coming on the show today. We're really glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here.
And, of course, we are joined by our fearless leader, our chief founder and visionary of AVNation, Mr. Tim Albright is joining us this morning. Good morning, Tim. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about InfoComm 2016, the big show here in the States. It's coming up on June 4th through the 10th in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're all looking forward to it. And we're going to be talking today specifically about social media at the big show, what you can do leading up to the show, what kinds of exciting things are happening on social and online at the show, and how you can use social media to follow up from the show. And, of course, if you can't make it to Las Vegas, how you can attend the show virtually via social forms. So let's just jump right into it. Pre-show, you know, what do we have to do? It's one of those things, a lot of people don't think about using the social before you even get there, but you want to try to hype things up a little bit. Kelsey, do you have any suggestions for what people can do to get word out? Things like, I know there's an official hashtag to try to build the buzz. What do you suggest?
Yeah, I was talking to some people here at InfoComm recently, too, that may be interested in getting on Twitter and getting involved in social media to promote their different programs. And don't wait until you arrive in Vegas to start putting out messages. You need to start now. Following industry professionals, there's lists out there that you can check it out and find some great people and follow them now. Create your list so they're easy to find at the show and you know who to follow, and also have an idea of what hashtags you need to be looking out for so you can check on those feeds, see if you're missing anything, see if there's any great areas that you want to get in there, and you can engage with people and promote yourselves or your booth or whatever you're promoting at the show.
Do you have any advice on specific hashtags or lists that might be good to follow? Just even the InfoComm, the official InfoComm hashtag would be awesome to know.
Yeah, so the official InfoComm hashtag is hashtag InfoComm16. You might have seen me play along with the AV hashtags game last week and remind everyone about the official hashtag. That's InfoComm16. But also, you all know and love the AV selfie hashtag as much as I do. That's a great one to follow and a good way to engage with people. The Women of InfoComm hashtag is hashtag capital I, capital C, women. That's a great one. And we have the educational mobile cart going around. It debuted last year and it's coming back this year, and that's Moby, we call him, and it's hashtag ICMoby. So that's going to be a little bit of a surprise at the show to see where you can find Moby if you have some free time, win some prizes, engage in some educational content. So that's another good one to follow.
Is he also a beer cart?
No, unfortunately, no. You got to head to the beer garden for that.
Got it.
But there are fabulous prizes, I hear.
Yeah, there are some good prizes this year. Moby was so successful last year that they've got even more prizes, even more great content, and presenters and speakers that are going to be going along with the mobile cart this year.
Outstanding. Tim, do you have any suggestions for some other hashtags or people or info to follow prior to the show?
So as far as people to follow and things of that nature, you've got the regular cast of characters, all the publications, whether that's us or Commercial Integrator, SCN, Rave, everybody that's doing it is going to have their official hashtag, and then or their official handles. Then you get people like our buddy Chris Netto, who is, I think one year he actually got shut down by Twitter because they thought he was a bot. He tweets so much. So I'm not joking about that, by the way. He really did. And then, folks like you guys, the integrators that are going to be on the show for Brock McGinnis and John Green are two very prolific Twitterers. I don't know if Leonard Susskind is going to Infocom or not, but if he is, he would be another one. Then you got the manufacturing people. You've got people like you have Daylight Man, right? Whoever Daylight Man is, you need to make sure that you follow them. One thing I want to point out about following and hashtags and stuff like that, an interesting site is some buddies of ours at Daily Do. They do a site called aka.tv. And what they do, and they've actually started already, is they start monitoring. It's kind of an analytical site, but they start monitoring the hashtag Infocom16 and showing you what the most trending tweets are and the most trending topics and the most prolific Twitterers. So if you're lost for somebody to follow or you're not really sure where to jump in, that would actually be a good site to start with.
Interesting.
And of course there are, Tim mentioned all of the magazines we have. If you go back through some of the issues of SCN or Commercial Integrator, you'll find a lot of industry folks to follow in them. I know CI did a thing a few months ago, the 103 top tweeters or top whatever to follow. And I believe Kelsey was on that list. I know Kelly and I and Tim were on the list with the AVNation crew. But there are tons of fabulous people. I mean, I've been in this industry a long time and on social for a long time, and I found some new folks to add after checking out that list. So definitely go back and look up, the top 103.
I think so, yeah,
folks
103.
Follow or you know what it was called exactly, Tim or Kelly?
I have if people are interested in just the basics of Twitter and how to do it, I just put together a brief like Twitter instruction manual. It's like a page and a half of what the different things mean and kind of an industry guide to it. And I have a link to all of those people and that article in CI. So if anyone's interested, get in touch with me and I can send that over to you really easily.
Or we can also put a link to it if you want to give it to a download. We can put it on this episode's page.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
Wonderful. And one other thing that you can think about, folks, when you're planning your trip to Infocom or any other trade show for that matter, don't just hype the fact that you're going and don't just follow people that are going. But, one of the greatest things about social media is the content curation, the sharing of information. And this is a great time to start looking up and sharing relevant content for the show. Check out, again, Infocom itself has been sending out weekly or almost daily blasts with exciting things coming up at the show, whether it's education, social events, the show, the show floor itself. I know different publications and individual companies have been sending out a lot of information. Check out our new. Tune in for the top 16 technologies to look for. Those sorts of things are great bits of content if you want to start sharing within your company or with your customers in advance of the show to try to build that buzz and that hype for this show in particular. But that tip works with almost any trade show that you're planning to go to. At the show. Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
No, I was just going to say maybe if we could start with some kind of the highlights, I guess, at the show. I think is where you were going next.
Yeah, absolutely. And we already mentioned the official hashtag, and I'll just keep repeating it so people get it, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Hashtag Infocom16, not Infocom 2016, not IC16 or IC20. Infocom 16. We always get 50 different related hashtags, and it never quite dials in for some folks, but hashtag Infocom 16. And you mentioned IC Women as a great hashtag to use at the show. So what can we do regarding classes, regarding events at the show? I mean, obviously, I'm glued to my phone tweeting out sort of highlights of classes or summaries of classes or reviews, that sort of thing. Do you have any sort of best practices for that, Kelsey, for, official stance on the show? Can we tweet during classes and so forth?
Well, whether you want to tweet during classes, it's up to you. But it's always welcome. The way social media is going now, it's you're providing people that aren't there with on-the-fly live updates. Also, maybe people that are there and missed something, got to hear a little moment again, a little tidbit like, oh yeah, that was a great point to be mentioned. And so we encourage you to share everything that's happening as you go along at the show, maybe for people that can't be there, or maybe somebody else thinks that the point you mentioned was great and they want to connect and they want to talk more on that. Social media is all live now, the behind the scenes, the live content. So during classes, in between classes, there's going to be different events at the AV Arcade or the Moby mobile cart that you can engage with on social media. And it's a good way to share your ideas, ask questions, and engage with other people that maybe wouldn't have necessarily approached you to talk about a specific topic. A lot of our instructors are also on social, and so maybe you didn't get a chance to ask them a question in class or you thought about it a couple hours later. It's a good way to reconnect and to bring up a conversation again.
Fantastic. So let's talk about photos and videos and those sorts of things for a moment. We've moved more and more, we keep mentioning Twitter, and Twitter is one of the biggest used networks in our industry, as far as I can tell, on the social front, for live events especially. But Instagram, Vine, Meerkat, what's the other, Periscope, Snapchat, we've got all these other media that are more and more part of the social landscape. Aside from, AV selfies, like, we should definitely be taking photos. Is there best practices on that, Kelsey?
The only thing is you need to be careful on the show floor. You can't take, you can't go behind a curtain and take a picture of somebody's product. You just need to be careful when you're on the floor, what you're taking pictures of. Is it professional or not? Selfies on the floor is fine, and then anything, any Infocom signage or anything related to that in classes, you're welcome to take pictures. But obviously, when you get into certification, that's you got to put the phones away, and no photos allowed there. A hashtag I did forget to mention was the CTS wall, which is always a fun one to look at and to congratulate people that are finding their names or passing their exams. But with other platforms, we are going to be, Infocom's accounts are going to be experimenting a little bit. We're going to be on Facebook Live now. I know some other instructors and some other people are going to do a little bit of experimenting with Periscope. And then also, big Monday morning announcement, we're jumping on Snapchat as well. So you can follow us at Infocom Show, and we're going to be using Snapchat from now until the end of the show. So we'll be seeing how that goes. So I hope we can connect with some of you. I know AVNation and Tim is on there, and Chris Netto, and a few other AV tweeps. So hoping to connect with more on Snapchat as we go along.
Yeah, I will add that to my Snapchat as soon as you're all there.
Great.
Kelly, anything to add on the visual front of social at the show?
Personally, I love to see the behind-the-scenes aspects that you wouldn't normally see. So maybe you're presenting a class and I'm not in that class, or there's an event at the booth that I can't make it to. Show me that. The show is so big and so long, you have to be in 1,000 different places at once, but I want to see maybe the things that I'm missing. And maybe I do catch it. So Kelly's got a great presentation at the booth. I see a picture of it, and great, I can get there for the last 15 minutes. That looks fun, or look who she's in that photo with, or planning to talk about, mentioned in the caption. I think the behind the scenes and really showing your personality through the photos is what's best.
Great.
And along with that, Infocom is going to try and do a little bit of that with you to share what the normal attendee wouldn't necessarily see. So
that's awesome, the peek behind the curtain, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun.
Real quickly about Snapchat, and Snapchat I think is still a little bit of smoke and mirrors because nobody really knows what to do with it yet, right? We got on Snapchat honestly because there's a couple of social people that I follow, and when the NFL jumped on Snapchat, I was like, okay, there's something there, right? The NFL, especially around the NFL draft, and my favorite team, the Bears, also jumped on. A number of other ones did as well. We still don't know what to do with it, right? We were in conversations with a number of other of the publications about how to, kind of get together as other publications, and none of us really had a good handle on it. Yes, we're there. Infocom is there, and I think it's important, but it's still in a very beginning stages. In addition to that, we're going to have a number of our folks are going to have access to our Periscope and they're going to be Periscoping from various booths, right? So if Chris Neto is at, Barco's booth, let's say, and he finds something cool, he'll light up the Periscope real quick and say, hey, this is the cool thing that I found. So that's another one that to look out for. Not just us, other folks will be doing it as well. But I think that's a really cool thing. That being said, that's also bandwidth dependent, I guess is the best way to put that.
I see Kelly moving her lips, and I can't hear her, so are you muted, Kelly?
There she is. No, we cannot hear you now.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
There you go.
You get it? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. So do you just follow Infocom on like the stories? Do you just type in Infocom?
Yeah, type in Infocom show. It's just the show, not Infocom the Association that's going to be on Snapchat.
Got it. Okay. Been added.
Nice.
Oh, see, I was being polite to the audience and waiting till after the show, but that's all right, Kelly. We love you.
I'm sorry. I get excited. I'm impulsive. All right. I'm good.
So, all right, so we're hopefully going to see lots of fabulous pictures between Instagram and Snapchat, and we're going to see lots of videos, not just the ones that are shot and posted here on AVNation on each of the magazine websites, but also maybe some Facebook Live, some Periscope, some Meerkat, what have you. What about engagement, social games and things? Kelsey, you mentioned a couple times AVSocial, which is a lot of fun. I know our friend Gary has his game that he does, and I know over the years both AVSocial and the game often have social, people saying, oh my God, I just saw them over by Digital Projection, run if you want to get a t-shirt or try to win a iPod or whatever. So what other ways can we use the social things to engage? I know this year one thing I'm kind of excited about, our friends at Commercial Integrator are giving away $1,000 on social media with something they're doing hashtag CIS Grand Quests. And from what I've heard, it's maybe a scavenger hunt, and you tweet pictures and things while you travel around the floor, and then you could win $1,000. What other cool things have you heard of or would you suggest for drumming up engagement with individual brands or organizations at the show? Anyone, really.
I think you have to be a little careful with social media gamification at the show. As Tim mentioned before, we've got to think about bandwidth and also think about how busy everyone is. And as much as we are on our phones, there's also a lot of face-to-face engagement, and everybody is so busy. So you need to think it through and really do the pre-show promotion beforehand to make sure people know that this is going on at the show. You shouldn't wait until Wednesday morning to start talking about your social media game that's going to happen, because not everyone is going to see it. So that needed to have started already, or you should be pushing it now, reminding everyone what this game is and that it's going to happen. But this commercial integrator, $1,000 sounds great to me.
Right?
This might be a good time to talk about the BuyAmp campaign as well.
Yes, tell me.
A little lead in.
Yes, please.
Kelly, Tim, either one of you. I know
Tim, you have it with you, right?
You would say that, yes, but you talk for a second while I find it.
Okay. So BuyAmp sent out this basically like confidential kind of CIA super secret document. And using audio on it, it basically teaches you and kind of shares with you how to follow them and the different types of announcements they're going to make at InfoComm through LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook as well. It's super cool. And I hope Tim can find it.
I do know I heard Tim playing it once, and I was super jealous that I didn't get one hint to all of our BuyAmp friends watching this.
Well, basically, it's a letter with some sealed documents and a little audio piece that you hit the button, and it speaks to you. It's really cool, though.
Well, and the other thing that was really unique about it is the fact that the email that they included in it was a copy of an email, was all the redacted parts, right? So it was very much CIA covert. You're getting something that nobody else is getting feel to it. Obviously, it was a PR piece, so a lot of people got it, but it was very cool.
And
I was just going to say, we'll take a video of it and post it on this too, because it's really neat if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so we've covered kind of what hashtags to use, how to sort of cover your live events, those sorts of things. Who wants to talk a little bit about scheduling? Because I know, as Kelsey said, we are all swamped at the show. Is there a place for scheduling when things are live and happening so quickly that things could change? Are there pros? Are there cons? What says the panel about using something like Hootsuite or Buffer or something to schedule tweets and posts in advance at the show, as an average integrator or as a brand like BuyAmp or Daylight or whomever?
I can speak from the integrator part. For example, I speak with a lot of my coworkers that are going to the show and ask them what they're looking forward to. So I know, what the different events or products or announcements or manufacturers, even some of the courses, just to ask, what I should be looking for in advance. And then what I'll do at the show is kind of follow where they're at. So if they're doing something, specifically cool or whatever, I'll try and put that into my schedule. I don't pre-schedule tweets, I guess, as an integrator, but I would imagine it would be really helpful for manufacturers as they're going to be completely swamped at their booths.
And as far as what we do and how we operate, we've got a Hootsuite. It's what I use. It's what we use for AVNation, and we have a list of scheduled tweets going out because we already have our schedule of when you guys are and others are going to be at the various booths. So let's take Belden, for example, right? Belden Cable. We're going to be doing Belden, and I can't tell you exactly off the top of my head where it is, but let's say we're doing it on Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, right? So on Wednesday afternoon at 1:45, Las Vegas time, there'll be a tweet that goes out and says, meet Chris Netto at Belden, here's the booth number, right? So those are the scheduled part. The cool ones, though, and not that those aren't cool, but the real interactive ones are when Dawn Mead stops by Beam, and I'm going to use that story to the day I die. Dawn, was it 3 or 4 years ago, stumbled across this booth, and it was a wonderful booth. It was a great experience. She brings these people to us, and I think we've interviewed them every year because of it, because of that connection. Well, fast forward and think about if we were using social better, as we are now than when we did then, she would have taken a picture, taken a quick video, or done a Periscope right from their booth, and said, "This is the coolest thing I've seen." Dawn's really good about finding those diamonds in the rough in the back 40, as we say, and so those are the ones that you're going to really look forward to. Yes, as a manufacturer, as a media company, as somebody who has to get the social out there, you're going to schedule them, and you however whatever magic you use to figure out what the time and the everything is for that. It's up to you, but the other ones are you got to make sure that your team has access to your account, so they can do those spontaneous, holy cow, look at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey, does Infocom do anything on the scheduling front, or you've got a million red shirts that can like actually hop on and tweet if need be? But
yeah, in the past we did our majority of our interaction on social media at the show was through scheduling. But this year we're trying something a little bit different, and we are doing a lot on the fly, a lot of live, seeing what we can find, hoping to post pictures and videos just as we go and what we find interesting. We will continue to schedule little reminders about different events we have going on in case somebody jumps on and they think, yeah, this event's starting in 15 minutes, let me get out there. Or, oh yeah, there's live music at the beer garden, I need to check that out. So those sorts of reminders, but it's going to be a lot more live tweeting and Facebook and Snapchat than we've done in the past.
Just on,
go ahead, Kelly.
I was just going to say, just scheduling, I mean, I don't know if it's just me this year or if it's everyone every year, but I just feel like there are so many different things going on. Like, personally, I feel extremely overwhelmed. There's, between the classes and the networking stuff between AVNation and Rave and Corey's group, and then you have all these new, like, Infocom chats and meetups and tweetups and manufacturer events. I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of shuffling. Maybe it's just an organizational issue, but there's so many different events where it's like there's not one place to find them. You know what I mean? So I'm really going to be using Twitter a lot just to figure out where in the heck I'm going when.
Sorry, the show is always overwhelming schedule-wise. And that's one of the things I use social for at the show is to find where to go next and who to hang out with. If someone says there's a cool event happening at the artist formerly known as the LVH, I might head over there and join in and fun. Personally, I think it's because Kelly and I have hosted this show now for a couple of years, and so I get into the nuts and bolts of social a lot. I've always been kind of skeptical about scheduling just because we hear so many horror stories about scheduled tweets, and then something happens in the news and makes that scheduled tweet completely inappropriate, and you forget it's scheduled, and then you become a case study for Kelly and I to say what not to do on social. But even more than that, at the show, there's so much going on. If I schedule a tweet about, gee, this sounds like a fun networking class, and then something wicked exciting happens right before then that I don't even get to the networking class, or I don't even, see the person that I was tweeting about because something even cooler happened, I want to be talking about the cooler thing. I don't want to be stuck, and knowing me, I'd forget that it was scheduled, and then, case study, insert case study here. But there's a place for it. I think Tim's dead on that, maybe schedule your pre-scheduled appointments, like I know I'm going to be shooting a video at this booth at this time, or I know I'm co-teaching a class meetup thing at the Infocom booth on Thursday at 11, I think. Shameless plug. Those sorts of things I will try to schedule in advance. But anything else, if you see me on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on anything at the show, it's probably live and spontaneous. Just this is my kind of point. Now, Kelly mentioned meetups and tweetups and events. That's one of the coolest parts about going to a show like Infocom. We all yammer on social media to each other all the time. I think Yammer is a social network, but anyway, we're all talking on social media to each other all the time, and a lot of times we don't get to meet in person. And the glory of a show like Infocom or ISE or CES, you have a chance to actually meet these folks face to face. And I'm going to throw it over to Tim right now because I know we have a big event coming up that we want to plug, and then I'll throw it to Kelsey if you've got other things scheduled. I know the beer garden is going to be one. I'll let you talk about that in a second. But Tim, tell us about the tweet up.
Free food and drink. There you go. That's all you need to know.
I'll be there.
See,
how about date, time, place?
Who needs stuff like that? So our tweet up is 4 to 6 in room and is in Nancy 205 and 206. And it started, good Lord, 4 years ago now. We didn't start the tweet up. Let's start there. It was a bunch of folks that were already talking on the hashtag AVTweets. We're already talking. A bunch of folks got together for a couple of years at a bar. Everybody kind of paid for themselves and got together.
That started years ago. Actually. The ad hoc version started about 6 years ago, 6 or 7.
Okay.
I was at one of the first or the very second one.
So this is our 4th annual, I think, is what we figured out. Where we've got our underwriters helps pay for this. This is part of where their money goes. And I wasn't kidding about the free food and drink. There is no cost to this. You show up for a couple hours between 4 and 6. You bring your business cards. You don't have to have a Twitter handle. It does help, but you don't have to have one. I think last year we started with the name tag, so you could put your hashtag or your Twitter handle on a name tag if you so chose. That came from Heather Sidorowicz, who's at TechChi, and I had no idea. I didn't make the connection. But it really is a good networking event. All of my little snarkiness aside, it really is. It's turned into a very cool event that I'm very proud to be a part of. And folks like Kelly and Dawn helped make that just by talking about it and helping us refine it every single year. The first year it was a small little room in the back 40. Last year we had so many people that we actually had to double the size from 1,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet. The room this year. That's kind of cool, right? So 4 to 6 on Thursday, room 205, 206. The reason it's at the LV, the reason it's at the convention center, is we did it that way on purpose. It is an event that you can walk through on your way to your evening's event. We are not a destination event. We're just kind of a walkthrough, come by, see folks, and grab some food and drink.
It is a lot of fun. Stop by with about 200 or 300 of your closest friends, which is what it ends up being. Put some faces to those Twitter handles and hashtags that you run across throughout the year, and enjoy some lunch on your way to whichever party or dinner you're going to.
Yeah, it's great for putting a face to a name for people that you see not only on Twitter, but you see them in all the publications in CI and SCN, and you hear their names kind of thrown around here and there, but it's great to actually meet in person. It's so awesome.
And it's always when the famous celebrity types stop by. I know last year David Labuscus, who is president, CEO, chief fan,
all of the above.
InfoComm, he came by and we were all like, oh, David Labuscus is here. This is exciting. I think I took a selfie with him. So you get to meet the famous types in AV as well when you come to those things.
Kelsey, and Daylight Man was there last year too.
He was.
Yes. Sorry,
now,
go ahead, Kelsey.
I'm wondering, so I wasn't able to make the tweet up last year. This will be my first year, and I'm very excited. But do any of you have any tips for newbies like me that maybe are a little intimidated to walk into the tweet up, meet a bunch of people that they know their Twitter handles, but they don't actually know anybody's face, know them in person? What are your tips for the newbies?
One thing, and I hope we're doing it again this year, make sure you put your Twitter handle on your name tag, so that, and your first name or whatever you'd like to be called for the evening, goddess, whatever. Put that on your name tag so that people can instantly say, for Tim's example, Heather, everybody knows her as TechChi. Nobody knew her as Heather, so having a name tag that said at TechChi Heather was great. You could walk and say, oh my gosh, hi, we talked on, I'm whatever your Twitter handle is, and oh, it's great to meet you. But the biggest thing is try not to be shy. Find a group that looks interesting, or find someone standing by themselves, and just, like any networking event, just walk up and talk to them, and talk about something cool you saw on the show floor if you can't think of anything else to say. Talk about something cool you know is coming up tomorrow or later that evening, or just put yourself out there. Eventually, someone will walk up and start talking to you, probably. That's a great.
I was going to echo that. I mean, you're going to be in a room with probably 100 of the most outgoing, extroverted people ever. So if anybody sees anybody standing alone, you won't be standing alone for too long. So, and feel free to grab a drink, grab some food or whatever, and just walk up to anyone because everyone is, like I said, super extroverted and friendly, and we're all there for the same reason. So.
And also having the food or the drink is also great because you can say, "Wow, this shrimp's really fabulous, don't you think?" And or whatever we have. I don't know what Tim's lovely wife has on the menu this year.
I think there is shrimp involved. Yes.
Go on.
Yes, I believe there is shrimp involved, and the always popular Southwest spring rolls, which are really good. So.
Now I'm hungry.
And I will tell you, so I'm going to give you guys a tease. There's one of our underwriters is doing something kind of unique for people who are on social media. Let's just say that there is a special branded product that possibly could be showing up at the AV Tweet Up that some of the more prolific Twitterers in the AV Tweeps community may have their pictures or avatars imprinted on. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Please.
Okay.
So basically, Kelsey, come on out. Have fun. Friends, bring them by. And it's just a kind of good time. And as Tim said, we can be a destination if you want to stay till 6, but we're really designed to catch people as they're leaving the show floor on their way to Manufacturer A's party or Manufacturer B's event or dinner with the boss and 12 clients or whatever it happens to be. We kind of want to make sure everyone gets to stop by and say hey and, have a good time.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a good opportunity for other young professionals in the industry to, a very welcoming group to jump in on and attend an event and meet a lot of big names within the industry. So it's going to be a good time.
And if you're an old professional, you're more than welcome to come too, even if you don't have a Twitter handle.
Learn a little bit about it.
That's what I was gonna say. Come check it out and see what the buzz is all about.
That's right. Apparently, since my last birthday or two, I'm no longer a young professional, so whatever. That's fine. I don't want to talk to you guys anyway. No, it really is a good time, and Tim can correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually think that the AV Tweet Up is the site of the ad hoc Women in AV, the WAVE event. They weren't having something kind of separate this year.
No,
I saw.
Yeah, that's in discussion. That is not happening now. So we got to figure that out. So.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Whether it's official or not, all the women in AV can come by the Tweet Up and have some free food and drinks and have some good chat with the rest of us. And the gentlemen as well. Pretty much everybody. We're free and groovy that way. So, welcoming.
Try to be.
So, okay, we've talked about what we can do socially before the show. We talked about at the show. And if you're not able to go to the show, check all of these sources. Look for the videos. Look for the Instagrams and the Snapchats and the Snapchat stories and Facebook videos and so on. But what about after the show? Does this all kind of stop on June 11th when we all fly home exhausted, or how do we build on this going forward? Let's start with Kelsey. What kind of suggestions have you for post-show engagement?
I think it kind of goes in a wave. You're at the show and you're really excited, and then the show ends and you still have all of this excitement and inspiration to keep moving forward, and then it tends to just drop and you die off a little bit as the summer months come. And I really want to encourage people to don't let that happen. You're motivated and inspired. You've learned a lot at the show in Vegas. You've made a lot of great connections. Keep them up. Anyone you meet on new, connect with them on LinkedIn immediately and send them a quick message, or on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you're connecting, following up on a conversation that you had, or maybe you got really inspired and you're interested in getting your CTS or CTSD or anything. Take that next step immediately to continue thinking about it, continue the thought process, and don't let these ideas die out as we're all focused on going to the pool after work instead of spending a little extra time studying or making these connections.
Great. Ellie, what kind of suggestions do you have for post-show engagement, keeping things on the buzz, so to speak?
Keeping things moving. Well, I think a lot of the publications seem to help a lot with that, kind of doing wrap-ups. I know I'll get together with my team after the show. I think this year we have about 45 people going from AVI, so I'll attempt to at least round up a couple of the more blog-worthy, or I don't want to say the ones that really get into it. I'll get their kind of talking points and what they thought was cool, what their favorite product was, their favorite booth, their favorite event, class, et cetera, and we'll kind of do an internal kind of follow-up that we'll send out from kind of an integrator's perspective. So that's something we'll do, and there's a lot of other folks that do the same thing. So it's just interesting to kind of see, what did I miss? What are the new technologies that are going to be rolling out through the next year? So that's just something we do internally.
Okay. Tim, what can we look forward to after the show from the AVNation crew or from you personally?
That's up to you two. So here's what we have a thing that we do, just kind of a community thing. It's called the AV Selfie Video. This will be our 3rd year for that. It's going to be debuting at our booth on Friday at 11 o'clock. Our booth is N as in Nancy 2821. Basically, anybody that takes a picture between now and the end of Thursday, Infocom, just because our editors have to have time to put it together with the hashtag AVSelfie. We'll gather all those pictures together. Our buddy Phil Cordell, Hi-Fi, has done a really good job doing a parody song surrounding AV. The first year it was the AV Selfie. Last year it was all about it was Uptown Funk, and he did that. This year,
yeah, what is it?
Well, this year there is a tribute to Prince. I will put it that way, and a couple other popular songs that he's done. And so we take that soundtrack and we put it together, and then on Friday we'll show the video. Obviously, put it on our YouTube page and our page as well. And the one thing that happened though 3 years ago when we started this was it continued. That whole hashtag thing continued. It's obviously not as popular as AV Tweeps, but people still took pictures, whether it was an install or they were going to a training or other events as well. They were using that hashtag, so that was one way to continue that conversation. The other thing is just to continue to look for, you guys mentioned the wrap-ups. Every magazine, every publication is going to have some sort of wrap-up. A lot of our team write for SCN, they write for Commercial Integrator and other publications as well. And so look for those wrap-ups, and then look for stuff that we do that incorporates the next Infocom event. I believe that the next significant one would be Infocom India, as well as Infocom Middle East. Then we have the AVEC, which is the AV Executive Conference. So all of those things continuing on. We'll just kind of continue that conversation.
And I think
Infocom Connections. Sorry, can't forget that one.
Oh, that's right, Infocom Connections.
And I was just going to say, I think a great way to just keeping the momentum going is all the new people that you get to meet. And you'll see those, individual relationships growing on Twitter and through LinkedIn, and just being able to meet people face to face, and then finding out that, oh, this person's on social, and it's such a great way to keep in touch with people and really, build that relationship with another person. So I think that's a great way to do it too, and it's just kind of something that comes out of it.
Right. And like Kelsey said, definitely don't. I mean, notorious, sorry, guilty, but don't hesitate in following up with people after the show. Don't procrastinate. Don't find a stack of business cards 3 months after the show and say, oh, crap, I wanted to say hi to them, or, oh, I met them and they were awesome, and, take time, add them on LinkedIn almost immediately, or on Twitter, or on whichever social network. Follow up, even if it's just a, hey, it was awesome meeting you in the Networking Essentials class. You're awesome, let's keep in touch, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I mean, you'd be surprised the relationships that can be built. I've got some fabulous friends in the industry that I never would have met if it weren't for meeting at the events at Infocom and following up. Honestly, and I think I'm not wrong in saying this, Tim, correct me if I am wrong, but AVNation almost wouldn't exist if it weren't for Infocom and the tweet ups and meeting face to face and a group of us getting together how many years ago at this point and kind of making that initial connection and then staying together. And now, honestly, Tim, Kelly, Matt, George, Bradford, all the guys, are some of mine and Harry's closest friends in the industry. And a lot of it was we talked on social, we met in person at the Infocom show. We built this thing from the ground up, and now we're just like family. So don't mess around and following up with people, even if you're kind of shy, because you never know. It could be your new best friend.
Yep. So I will tell this story on myself. 5 years ago, Harry and I took the CTSD at the exact same show. Harry has a CTSD and I don't, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But no, that was. And seriously, that was actually one of my first interactions with Harry and Dawn was talking about totally on social media, all over the AV Tweeps thing, and I did not pass the test, and Harry did, and he will not let me live that down to this day. So yeah.
You know what would help? You know what would help?
What?
Pass it.
I'm not taking the no. That would just no.
I'm just saying, Kelsey loves signing up a test taker.
Sure. I'm a little busy at this year's show. I'm actually more busy than I've ever been. So this would not be the year for that.
Okay. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, I'll let you off the hook with that right now, Tim, at least. But at this show's a little unique too because they've done a really great job of putting together a lot of little areas where you can sit down and network with people, and I just want to throw that out there. Like the beer garden is a great place to make connections and have conversations. There's going to be these little areas all over the convention center. There's going to be a standards cafe if you want to sit in this cafe and talk standards. Different things like that. An arcade where you can go and meet people and have some little conversations as well. So we just want to provide a lot more, better atmosphere for people to get off the show floor and have conversations and meetings and make connections with these people. So you can look forward to that this year in Vegas as well.
Now, tell the truth, Kelsey. I don't think you'll get in trouble for giving us this peek behind the curtains. So some of these big areas to sit down and socialize, like the beer garden and so forth, tell the truth. They really kind of sprang out of 2 years ago in Vegas when a certain large computer company didn't show, and their lounge that just had couches and TVs became a central watching point for the World Cup at the show, and the networking and the interactions that came from that probably kind of spurred things along, right?
Oh, well, I wasn't at that show 2 years ago, so I can't say, but I know I would have been very upset if there wasn't a spot where I could catch the World Cup, so I'll just say that.
It was the most popular booth at the show, oddly enough.
Had no anything in it other than couches and TVs.
And it was a wonderful place. They should do it again. I wish that they would continue to do that.
So that's the new World Cup lounge is the beer garden. It sounds like not a World Cup year, but
Are these places on the show floor or are they off the show floor?
Mostly off the show floor.
Okay, so around, like in the hallways and rooms and stuff?
Yeah, actually the Infocom booth isn't on the show floor this year. You're going to see it right as you walk into the convention center. So,
okay.
So it's a little different.
No, that's good. That's good. That'll make it easy for all the meetups and events that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a good spot to meet people, you can say, at the Infocom booth, and then you look up and you can see like the CTS wall right up there. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier to find our areas and point people where they need to go. So, and if you have any of these ideas, you want more, TVs with World Cup, or you have suggestions, or you really like one meetup area, or you didn't really like the beer garden, which I don't know who's going to say that, but feel free to tweet us these suggestions, and they always get filtered to the people that need to hear them. So. Or Snapchat us, or Facebook us, anything you want to do.
Just attack you on social media.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I think we've talked pretty much about everything. Can anyone think of anything else our viewers need to know pre, at, or post Infocom for social? We've sort of covered the gamut. I don't know if we missed anything.
There is one thing I wanted to add. I know I've been working with Brock McGinnis and Betsy a little bit on a marketing meetup. I don't know the exact dates and times yet. We're still trying to finalize it, but that might be an additional kind of social social meeting that might be good for marketing people and the social gurus of the industry. So plug
Good.
there.
Stay tuned to social networks for announcements on that.
Yep, absolutely.
And of course, we all know all the manufacturers have their parties or their receptions or their events, and if you sell a particular product, check their booth. They may be having something, or check their social. If you haven't gotten an invite already, an email. And those are also some hotbeds for both networking in person and sending out fabulous tweets, Instagram, Snapchat, all kinds of, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except occasionally on social pictures and such. We don't talk about that too much.
No.
All right, well, we're coming up on the top of the hour, and I appreciate everyone coming out today. Let's start with Kelsey. Thank you for being on the show today. Let's let everybody know your Twitter handle, your whatever handles that you want to share, where they can get in touch with you, and how to see you at the show.
Yeah, thank you all for having me. I've had a really great time. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at AVSocial. And then also got to plug all of the Infocom accounts. So we've got Infocom and follow Infocom Show on Twitter and Infocom Show on Snapchat as well. That's new. We're also on Facebook at Infocom Show as well. So we're going to be having a lot going on all those channels, and I hope to connect with some of the AV tweeps and AV users on social soon.
Fantastic. And Tim, thanks for joining us at the last. Tim came on actually this morning to just kind of help us produce behind the scenes, and I'm like, hey, how about joining us on the show? And he was so gracious to join us. So, Tim, tell us where to run into you, fearless leader.
AVNation.tv. That's the website, and that's what I tell people in general, both on the air and off the air. But my Twitter is pretty much predominantly covered by sports and my kids and stuff. But AVNation is the home of all that stuff. You'll also find our Infocom page where we'll have all our videos and our blog posts and our interviews and stuff like that. If you go there now, and it's avnation.tv/Infocom 2016, you're going to find a rundown of everything we're doing. And I mentioned the fact that this is the busiest year I've had at Infocom personally. I've got 3 classes that I'm teaching, and then Dawn is actually joining me on a session on Tuesday, on the Super Tuesday, that I'm actually kind of excited about. It's not that I'm not excited about the rest of them, but anyhow, it's the Future Trends section, right? I'm really jazzed to be a part of this Future Trends session because it's a bunch of people. It's the 3 of us, and then I say the 3 of us, 4 of us. So it's me, Dawn, Josh Schrago, and Bradford Ben. We're going to talk about not just the future trends, but the trends that are already dead. And there are some that may surprise you about which ones I think that are dead, and then the 3 of them get to tell me why I'm wrong. So that's the future trend session. That was it on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. So check that out if you would, please.
And if you can't make that, are you guys going to do kind of a synopsis?
We're actually going to be recording a podcast with that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And producing it. So.
Not the whole all day long.
No. Just our session. Yeah, just our session.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm excited to be asked to be on that panel because women on a panel, yay! Because we're so rare in our industry anyway. But also, it's always fun to tell the boys they're wrong sometimes.
Yes.
At least in particular, Josh and Tim and Bradford. They're fun.
Glad
Kelly?
you're recording it. Yeah. You can find me, Kelly Perkins, AVI_Kelly is probably the easiest way to find me. Otherwise, you can just give me a holler at AVI Systems.
And you are teaching a meetup class-ish thing in the Infocom booth, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, we're doing so I'm working with John Thomas of Visitech. We're teaching a class about how to be an effective AV mentor. And then I'm going to talk just a little bit about the opportunities for kind of bringing awareness and young people into the industry. I'm part of an initiative through NSCA called Ignite. I'm also working with Joseph Valerio at Infocom, kind of the workforce development stuff, a little bit of AVAQ initiatives as well. So following that class, we will be doing a meetup at the Infocom booth. I can't. Let me see. It's at Thursday at 1:30 to 1:50 p.m. at the InfoComm booth, and it's basically just attracting new talent to the industry, the recruiting, retaining issues we've had, and just how to solve it. So, yes, there's that going on.
Wonderful. And as usual, I'm Dawn Mead at AVDawn on Twitter and various other social networks. I try to use at AVDawn as many places as possible. So look me up. Like Kelly, I'm going to be sort of hosting, teaching, whatever, one of those meetup classes that are new this year at the InfoComm booth. Mine is on Thursday morning at 10:30, 11:30. I'm not sure because my phone is in Eastern time and I put in the wrong time. Do the math. It's 2:30 Eastern time, so I guess that's what, 11:30.
At 7:30 in the morning.
Not 7:30 in the morning.
It's at 11:30.
11:30 at the InfoComm booth. My husband, who you know affectionately used to be at Mr. AV Dawn, but now he's at AV Grump, an appropriate Twitter handle if I ever heard one. He and I are co-teaching a class called Better Customer and Company Communications. And basically, I'm in marketing, and I speak marketing speak, and he's an engineer, God love him. And, you know, just talking to each other sometimes is a challenge. And I'm a woman, he's a man. Just talking to each other is a challenge. And we all have challenges talking within our companies to different people and to our customers sometimes and getting the point across. You think you're being perfectly clear, and they just don't understand because we're talking different languages.
Cool.
So that's kind of the gist of our little class meetup thing at the InfoComm booth. And we hope folks will come by and join us because between the two of us, everybody should be able to understand one or the other of us. And
if we've gotten any of those times wrong, time differences, they're all on the website as of last week, all of the booth chats, so and meetups. You can find them at infocomshow.org.
There you go. So join us for that. Join Tim and I and a few others for the Future Trends class on Super Tuesday. Join us at the AV Tweet Up on Thursday evening. And join us online, social media. That's what we're here about, and that's what we're here talking about. We'd love to talk with you. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you at InfoComm the show.